This conference will now be recorded.
So this is a PPT of 3 pages. You can see that, and I don't prefer to use PPT since this whole session is about practical and using Linux actually. So this is the first and last PPT you can see. In this, I'll give just a short introduction about this Linux, and that's the reason I have made this PPT. So in this PPT, you can see that the explanation about Linux. So what is Linux? Linux is an open source operating system. Linux is an open source operating system. What does it mean by open source? Open source is actually source code which is open to everyone. But yes, it does have certain license. License does not mean that you need to purchase the license. Here, licensing means like there are several type of license comes, and licensing means like how you can take the code and how you need to distribute it. That is what the licensing is going to restrict on. So open source operating system means the source code which is open to everyone. Now anybody can think that when it's open, then how it is secure. It is open, and that is the only strength it is having, because of which the Linux is secure. Why? As much as open this operating system is, as much as people will see the code, and that many number of people will contribute to if any bug is there or if any issues there with the operating system or with the particular section of code. That many number of people will come forward and rectify it. So like there is 1,000 line of code, let's say. Let's take an example. There is 1,000 line of code, and 10,000 people are going through that 1,000 line of code. They'll be able to rectify more mistakes rather than only 10 people. So that many number will review that many number of people will review the code. It's going to be more rugged, it's going to be more secure, because that many number of feedbacks you will get and will get rectified accordingly. So on Linux, all over the world, people are working 24 into 7 on this operating system to add lots of feature and to secure the existing feature and secure the working of Linux. So Linux consists of bootloader, kernel, several software to support GUI package management, managing hardware and their functionality, including security and many more. It can be open source or proprietary as well. So what is the meaning of bootloader? Kernel. We'll come to the point, each and every point. Let me show Linux operating system itself here. Is it visible to everyone?
Sorry, yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Sir, yes, sir.
So this is the Ubuntu Linux actually. I have just opened this view to showcase you operate an operating system actually. How an operating system or Linux looks like. Nobody has seen Linux yet. So this is what it is. And this was Linux, and inside Linux I'm opening a Linux. So this you are seeing, this is a bootloader actually, which is bringing this Linux operating system. So actually this is Linux. What you are seeing here, this is Linux, and on the top of Linux, I have already installed one more Linux. So I can show you how the Linux boots and how it proceeds further. So this is a bootloader which is playing a role to boot the operating system actually. So it enters into bootloader. At this point of time, it loads kernel and it loads several softwares to make make the operating system workable. So I mean to say that it will load several software so that you can work on operating system. Kernel means kernel is a piece of software which connects you through the hardware and the operating system. And it's not only I can define in single word. So there are several things in kernel which needed explanations, and I have just told in a simple word and simple line I can say that. So this is your operating system, Linux, and this is another operating system actually. This is CentOS operating system, which looks like this. You can see that. So in this you can see that this is a computer, my computer. It's all folders. You can access something like this, and you can open browser, Firefox. If you have internet connection, you can use it the way you want. You can do all your work. I'm not sure if internet is working or not. Okay, it's working here. Fine. So this is Linux, and you are my screen is visible to everyone, correct?
No, sir.
No, sir. No, sir.
No, sir. Now it's visible, sir. Yeah,
Okay, no, it's
visible,
visible.
sir.
Great, thank you. So this is the Linux, and in Linux, this is the terminal. Terminal is a software which terminal is very powerful software which gives access to several things actually. So we'll talk about terminal later, but this is just to showcase that how Linux looks and how you can do several things in Linux. So this is a nice GUI which has been given to you to work to make you feel similar to Windows and to work on this. So this is an interface which is called genome interface and which is with Ubuntu CentOS operating system, which is with CentOS operating system. So I've turned off that. Now we are back to Ubuntu operating system. This is also operating system Linux only, which has nice GUI and things, and you can do the browsing here as well if you want. You can see that. Now the terminal. For Linux, this is the terminal. For Ubuntu, this is the terminal. Terminal is the same, and whenever you might have seen that what is called black screen, like the same window, if you connect to remote, it comes like a black screen, and which may give you an impression of Linux, what you might have seen before, but actually it's not always like that. Nowadays, Linux comes into very much good GUI. Let me show you the example of that black screen as well. So this is CentOS I'm turning on, but this is without GUI. What you have seen was with GUI. This is without GUI. We are into machine now, and you will not have any screen other than this. This is black screen, and keyboard you will have, and you are required to do everything here itself. You will not have anything to do. You will not have any options rather than this to do. If we can install GUI on the top of this, you will have the better GUI whatever you have seen just few minutes back. You'll be able to see the GUI. So we have some component. Let me explain what are all those components. Okay, so we have components. I have mentioned that one is bootloader, another one is kernel, then several softwares to support a GUI package management, GUI or package management. So bootloader, we have seen that bootloader is going to help boot the operating system. Kernel is a piece of software which is going to work as a bridge in your user space experience, and the interaction between hardware and the core operating system, because kernel itself is a core of your operating system. Without kernel you cannot have anything, but yes, without GUI you can have kernel, you can load the operating system. And obviously here I have written several software to support GUI. It means like you can install several software to support GUI packages. It's an optional. If you don't want, no problem, you can go ahead with the black screen. That's called terminal with that. And managing hardware and their functionality, so these are all things has been done by the several other softwares, or I can say the kernel. And now the next point what is written here is like it's Linux can be open source or proprietary. The meaning of this is Linux can be open source, and the open source meaning is like it is freeware available to everybody to use and modify and distribute. Proprietary means it is the source code is not available for everybody to use, and you need a license to use that. I mean to say you need to purchase a license to use that particular operating system. So that also Linux comes with. So having said that, let me open a website and share that. I have opened Google, and here I will write down Ubuntu, not Ubuntu, Linux distributions. And I will open this Wikipedia page, Linux distribution. I will open this page, which is not looking to you actually that much. I will open this page and I will zoom it. This is actually the history of Linux. It's started in 1992. And in 1992, Linux has started with Linux is started by Linus Torvald as an academic project. He has created, he has written a tiny kernel, tiny piece of kernel, and he wanted to make an operating system on the top of that. So in 1992, he has written and he has made his source code open. He has made his work he has made his work open to access everybody and get the feedback from everyone. And everybody liked it, appreciated the effort, and most of the people contributed as well. And it evolved so much that you can see this name itself. Name is one operating system. ASP Linux is one operating system. Rox is one. Pingo, BU Linux, Trustix, Linpus, Red Hat. You might have heard it. So there are several. All these are operating system only. These are all operating system. Whatever you are seeing, it's all operating system. And if somebody doesn't know, I can tell that there is a boss operating system, which is an Indian operating system developed by India. And this is the first Linux operating system developed by India actually. And it is developed in which year? So that is also mentioned here. BOS stands for Bharat Operating System Solutions. It's out of Debian. So it's coming out of the Debian. So you can see that this is the whole list of operating system distributions, which is with Linux. You may not be able to see the same or not even other variant of Windows. You may see that Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows Server, that's it. But this is Linux present in the current world. You can see that. You can also look at this list. This is a very big list for me to count the numbers and go ahead with anything. So you can just Google the Linux distribution and you can open the Wikipedia. It'll highlight you the Wikipedia, and you can open this Wikipedia. So this is about Linux. This is about distribution actually. Now coming back to what is Linux. So this is an open source proprietary operating system. I can tell you that Red Hat, and there are several other operating system which is proprietary, like Red Hat and ESXi, VMware, not VMware, ESXi I can say that, and several other operating system are closed sourced or proprietary operating system. You need to buy the license along with the operating system. That is what the meaning of this. So next question, next slide is what is the Linux distribution means. So distribution is a type of or a flavor, different flavor of Linux. Different flavor of Linux means you may have different source code for the GUI. You may have a different package manager. You may have a different stack for different things, but ultimately kernel is going to be the same, or the architecture may differ a little bit, but not entirely. So architecture of the operating system Linux I'm talking about. So that's what the distribution means here in Linux. If anybody is asking that, sir, Linux, CentOS is also Linux, whatever I have shown, and Ubuntu is also Linux, whatever I have shown. What is the difference in between those two operating systems? The difference between those two operating system is look and feel, and the package manager, what they have used, and the software stack, what they have used to produce their product. That's the only difference. Whatever work you can produce with CentOS, most of the work definitely you can produce with your Ubuntu as well. And this is the same link of Wikipedia which I have mentioned. You can get it here, and you can get it through Google as well. Everything is file in Linux: folder structure, folder review, overview, folder content, explanation. This I will give after some point of time when you will have Linux installed in your operating system or in your Windows. At that point of time, I will explain what are all these things. So this is a basic introduction about Linux actually. Let me show you how you are going to install. Okay, so you will open Google, google.com. In that, you will search VirtualBox. So I can expect that everybody is having Windows or anybody is having a Linux as well. Is there anyone who
Yes.
Okay, so there is no anyone who is having Linux. So I can go ahead with assuming that everybody is using Windows. So before going ahead, I can say that you need to have at least more than 4 GB of RAM, and operating system can be anything. That's not a problem. It can be XP 7, 8, Windows Vista, or 10, or 11 also, no problem. Everything is fine. So you need to search for VirtualBox for Windows. You need to click on this link. After clicking on this link, you need to go to downloads. Here also, if you click on download, it will directly download this VirtualBox. Okay, it's not downloading, it's giving you the option. If you have Windows, you can click on this, it will download. If you have Mac OS, you can download from here. Or if you have any Linux distribution you are using, you want to download for that, you can mention, you can download here. So let's say I'm clicking here, it's going to download, which I don't want to, so I will cancel it. Okay, it's got cancelled. So it will download here, and after downloading, you can double click and click, you will install without any problem, without any issue. You'll be able to install this VirtualBox. After installation, you are required to download another thing as well, not Ubuntu. So I'm going to download CentOS. I will write down in Google CentOS download, and I will click on download CentOS. Here you can download x86_64 architecture, and in this you can choose any of these servers. In this, let's say I'm clicking on this server, and in this you are required to download this one, CentOS 7 x86_64-dvd2009.iso. This file you are required to download. It's little bit big, so you need to wait for some time to get it downloaded. I have already downloaded, so I need not to worry about it. So you need to download these two things before proceeding ahead. And after downloading, you are required to install VirtualBox. After installing VirtualBox, you need to open that. In my case, this is a VirtualBox. And as soon as I open VirtualBox, it gives me all these things. But as soon as you will open your VirtualBox, you will have only this tools menu. This tools menu, you will not have all these things because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 operating system here, but all are turned off. So you will have only these tools and all these things. So After that, after that installation, you are required to add a virtual machine to work on. So what we are trying to do actually, what we are trying to achieve after all this downloading software and all doing. So let's think that I have a laptop. This is my laptop, and I wanted to work. This is having Windows. Okay, this is having Windows. So let's say you are having Windows and you wanted to work on Linux. So what you will be able to do is you'll be able to think of that, remove Windows and then install Linux, and then only you will be able to work. Okay, so but that's not the case. I don't want you to destroy your working setup and install Linux. So what is the solution here is we will have our existing Windows, and on the top of existing Windows we will have a software which is called virtual machine, and in your Windows you will have a motherboard. So is going to this virtual machine is going to virtualize your motherboard. This is your motherboard, let's say. This is going to virtualize your motherboard, so that this virtual machine, when you install this virtual machine, it will give you a new laptop to you. You can create n number of new laptops. Obviously you will end up with exhausting all the resources, so you can create a number of new laptops, I can say, by virtualizing your motherboard. So that is what we have done. So I have created 6 different operating system here. Not created operating system, sorry for that. I have created 6 machines, virtual machines, and on the top of 6 virtual machines, I have installed the same operating system. In your case, if you want to install different operating system, you can install different operating system on all the 6 machines. And after installation, when you turn on a virtual machine, you have already seen that how it looks like. It's give you a feel of real Linux, that you're working on a real Linux system or any system, and you can do whatever you might have done when you have installed your operating system on your desktop or on your laptop. That's what the main motive here. That is what we are trying to achieve. So this is the Linux. This is CentOS, which you are seeing. So we'll install virtual machine, and after installing this virtual machine, this is going to be a plain laptop, let's say. When you turn on, you will not have anything. And after turning on, when you will not have anything, obviously you need to install an operating system in this virtual machine. So that is what we will do. I am asking you to download this another thing. The reason for that is this is operating system. After downloading this, we need to install this in this virtual machine. Okay, so that's what the main purpose, what I'm trying to explain it here. This is operating system and this is the virtual machine, and we need to install that particular operating system in this virtual machine. So let me go ahead and create a new laptop, I can say, or new virtual machine. I will create new. I'll click on new. It is asking me the name. Let's say new Linux. And as soon as I given this option, it's asking me where I wanted to keep my machine folder. So this is the folder location I'm giving. Type is Linux, and version you may give Ubuntu, you may give CentOS. If you don't know, you can give other Linux 64-bit. Okay. Next, let's say if you are creating a laptop, definitely there are certain things which you need to decide, like RAM, hard disk, networks, all those things you have to decide. So here is the thing. This is RAM. It's asking how much RAM you wanted to give. I wanted to give, let's say, 2 GB of RAM. Okay, so it's approximately let me make it precise, 2048. 2048 is 2 GB of RAM. Next, this is asking hard disk, how much hard disk I wanted to create. It's asking what type of hard disk I wanted to create. So I'm giving VDI, VHD, VMDK. So let's give VDI itself. This is a different disk type which is supported by different with virtualization software. So virtual box, this is a software. This VirtualBox software is a virtualization software which virtualized your environment or your hardware. So we are trying to select the disk type. So let's be the default VDI. Go to next. Let's select dynamically allocated. I'll come back to this dynamically allocated. What is the meaning of this? Next, what is the size of your hard disk you want? So let's give it by default 8 GB itself as of now and create it. After creating, you'll be able to see that in general, this is the name, this is the display, this is the storage. You can see this is the 8 GB software, 8 GB hard disk you have given. It has audio hardware also, it has network hardware also. You can see that it has USB controller also, it has shared folder, and this is the main thing. Base memory is 2048, and it has a processor also. It has an AMD processor also. You can see that all information about your platform has been displayed here, whatever we have created. I'm going to start this machine now. This is your new laptop. Let's say you can say that this is my new laptop, I have bought it from the shop. So what will happen when you start? I'm going to start this new laptop. You can see that no bootable media found, system halted. This is what the result is expected when you are going to boot from a hard disk. You have your new system which does not have any operating system, and you are turning on your laptop. This is what you will see. So what to do? You are required to feed that ISO which you have downloaded from here. You have downloaded from here. You are required to give this ISO so that it can boot from here this ISO and it can install this ISO. So how to give that? I need to go to the devices, optical drives, and in that choose a disk file, and this is the location. I will double click on this and I will do the open, and after doing that I will just restart this machine, reset. You can see that now it's not complaining that I don't have any operating system. It is giving me this operating system. Okay, so I will just do the installation. I will not explain anything, and in next session I will explain what are all things, what are all components involved in installation and each and every step, and what are all different methods are present and available for installing this Linux. So the reason why I'm giving this is you can have time to install and see and play with Linux. So we have a menu. I will continue this. So installation destination, I'll click on this and I'll simply do the done. That's it. Nothing much is required. Begin installation. Installation is started. Now you need password and username. Password, whatever you want, you can give. Root password, whatever you want, you can give. User creation, if you want user, test user, you can give. And the password as well. Now your job is done. This is as simple as that. You just need to click, and in few clicks you will be able to install Linux. But this is, we are installing basic Linux. Basic means without GUI, and that is why it is going to install quickly. Let's say if you want to install it from, okay, let us finish the installation. Then we can talk about installing a GUI version as well. So installation is about to be done in few minutes. So the operating system does have several components. It has installed the core component. Now it's building the bootloader and making the system ready so that we can. It's configuring right now. Yeah, it's done. We can click on reboot. System is going to reboot. Okay. One more information I wanted to give here is like if you want to turn on. Okay, here let me. This is the Linux which we have installed. New Linux. You can see that.